with the 34th running of the great American race, the Daytona 500, worth some $2.3 million. Hello, everyone. Ken Squire here, and in the next hour, we're going to show you some of the spectacular action from the Twin 125-mile qualifying races held this past Thursday. And spectacular is the word. Alan Kowicki in trouble here at 190 miles an hour. In all, some 17 cars were torn up. Drivers had to go back to secondary cars for the Daytona 500. But they're already now 42 strong to make a go tomorrow in what is a racing classic. Now, joining us this year for the first time in the booth, a two-time winner of these 125 milers, Neil Bonnet, and also alongside the great Winston Cup champion, Ned Jarrett. And Ned, so many exciting stories here. And certainly one of them, as we're speaking to you live from the garage area, is right across the way where Richard Petty's number 43 has been parked in these past few days.
Well, the 1992 season and the Daytona 500 kicks off his fan appreciation tour, his farewell tour as a driver. He will drive all of the races in 1992, but this will be his last Daytona 500. Richard has won 7 Daytona 500s. He's also won 7 NASCAR Winston Cup championships and 200 events in all. He has set so many records over the years and been so great for this sport of auto racing, Ken. It's going to be sad to see him go as a driver, but certainly it has created a lot of action and activity for the Daytona 500.
And we're going to be following him all the way tomorrow with our live flag-to-flag coverage commencing at noon here on CBS. Now, the reason we have these earmuffs on, we're not broadcasting from the downhill at Albertville, but we're about to get a pretty high dB level as they pump up the Grand National cars for their 300-mile race. We mentioned that Neil Bonnet, twice a winner in these 125-mile qualifiers. How about these races we're about to watch?
Ken, I tell you what, these things are a lot of fun, but they'll bite you. I think in the garage area, the guys look at them as a necessary evil. To find out how good your car is for the Daytona 500, you need to take them to the limit and sometimes beyond in these 125s to see how good you are. I remember living in Alabama, Bear Bryant used to say when you throw a forward pass, 3 things can happen. Most of the times they're bad. In this type of racing, you can either run lousy, you tear your car up. If you're lucky, you might finish this thing. Some of them finished.
Thanks, Neil. For another observation, let's go to the Dean of American Racecasters, Chris Economaki.
Of the 58 cars entered for tomorrow's Daytona 500, only 42 will take the starting flag. And only a handful of those 58 do not have commercial sponsorship. Consequently, Thursday, the suites and pit boxes were packed with corporation presidents, marketing managers, and public relation types, all armed with programs ready to launch the minute their car wins the Daytona 500. Detroit is represented with an army of rooters for its particular nameplate. Consequently, the pressures on the drivers to win in these economic hard times are greater today than ever before. The first hurdle, however, is getting into the 500, and that's what these 125s are all about, Ken.
Thank you, Chris. Now get a firm hold on your armchair and stand by as we bring you the second of the 125-mile qualifiers from Thursday. The starting grid for the second 125-mile qualifier here at Daytona looks like this. The front row, car number 11 is there, and it's Bill Elliott at the controls this year, twice 500-mile champion. Dorsey Schrader is alongside, the ex-Trans Am champion. Row number 2 is Davey Allison and Brett Bodine. For row 3, it's Ricky Rudd and Chad Little. Row 4 is the 86 winner. That's Jeff Bodine and Michael Waltrip. In row 5, rookie Bob Schatt and Darrell Waltrip, the 89 champion. That's how they qualified, but not how they start. Practice on Wednesday, a miserable situation for many, including Michael Waltrip in the yellow car here, involved with Brett Bodine. Brett's car is able to come back out and assume its position, but that 30 car was destroyed, so it starts in the back. And incidentally, Davey Allison lost a car up in turn 2 as well. He's running a backup car from the rear of the field as we come down to start this 125-mile qualifying event. Bill Elliott in the number 11 car driving for Junior Johnson. First time in Winston Cup competition right down here on the bottom. We saw him in the Busch Clash, that race of qualifiers from a year ago. Last weekend, here he is now getting out in front, and with him comes Ricky Rudd. Dorsey Schrader, the 89 Trans Am champion, number 90, falls back into 3rd spot as they head down the back straightaway.
They get the single line pretty quickly.
Davey Allison out of the back of the field, moves around Buddy Baker in the 47. He's got a lot of distance to make up. Remember that he was one of those cars that had to run backup cars, and he is just flying through the field.
Wow, he ran up on someone who was almost stopped and made a good move. That was the Ted Musgrave car, number 55, apparently having some sort of a problem.
Here he comes back to the inside, the 28 of Allison, along with Michael Waltrip, Wallace, Bobby Hillin. Those backup cars, they had to pull out of the starting order and come from the rear. And come from the rear he does, as does the yellow number 30 there of Michael Waltrip.
This is a backup car, Davies. He lost his car in the last practice, and he had to go to his backup car, but this is not a slouch. This is the car that set him the pole a year ago, was leading the 500 last year, so it's plenty good to win these races.
Yeah, this is the car that got tangled up in the back straightaway with Earnhardt late in the going. This is a good horse. Here he is moving under late speed in the number 89 as he continues to fly through the field from the rear. Davey Allison on the attack. Meanwhile, with the leaders, here you are. The number 11 car, Bill Elliott in front. Ford first, Chevrolet of Ricky Rudd right there in that second spot. And there's Dorsey Schrader in the Junie Donlevy, car number 90. Remember, Donlevy won this race back in 1987. He had Schrader at the controls then. Longtime veteran car builder from Virginia. With the leaders, Elliott first, Rudd number 5 in second. And here's Allison still closing, still grinding it out here as he moves up through, coming out of turn number 4. Sachets by still another automobile, closes in on the Schatt car, and here comes the number 30 making that same maneuver as they continue to meander up through the field and try to get up to battle with Elliott, Rudd, Schrader, Bodine running in the first 4 spots. Chad Little is 5th. And from Morgan's viewpoint, here's what this 125-mile qualifier looks like from the 9th position.
And you can see nothing but daylight as far as his groove was concerned. There were no cars down there in that groove. And see, the car number 75 would trickle. Got to pull away.
It might look like daylight, but it looked like darkness when you try it. You just can't get any help down there.
Morgan Shepherd, brand new ride, takes over the car that Dale Jarrett drove just a year ago. Back with the leaders another time, and here you see Elliott staying out in front. He's had pretty good luck in these 125s in the past, but always in the famed car number 9 out of Dawsonville, Georgia. For the second time in his career, running something other than the number 9 on the side of the race car. The 11 of Junior Johnson. Here's Rudd right there, deployed in second, just roosting on the rear end of that car number 11, looking for a way to move. Probably willing to take some time, wait this one out a bit before he tries to drive it home. Take a look at this battle further back, 8th, 9th, and 10th. There's Darrell Waltrip down at the bottom, and guess who's caught up? Davey Allison, the black number 28, is there.
And Michael Waltrip in the yellow number 30 is there as well.
Coming down out of number 4, Darrell Waltrip, very optimistic this morning about the chances with car number 17.
But he's caught down there on the inside, and watch Davey Allison and his brother Michael Waltrip just drive by on the outside. Nothing he can do about it. You'd think that Michael would get over and say, help my brother out a little bit here. Or maybe Darrell would say, brother, won't you help me? But he didn't. He drove right on past him.
I'll tell you what brother said. Brother said, hop in there behind me. We'll see what we do. I'm going to take this thing.
Back with the leaders. And look at them. We'll be back with more of the 125-mile qualifying races for the Daytona 500 in a moment. Here at Daytona, Davey Allison has just moved into 9th around Dick Trickle, and he's going for 8th. Here comes 28 Allison, rim riding, high side, going around Schrader. He's a man possessed.
Michael Waltrip trying to move around the 75 car, decided that he would draft with him down on the inside, and Davey Allison is really moving up through the pack. And look at Morgan Shepherd in the Wood Brothers car number 21. He has come from 19th position up into the top 10 now, and you know, when he needed to move out and pass the car, Neil, he just pulled down on the inside and passed him.
He's been able to do it the hard way. The way we haven't been able to see anyone do it, he jumps the inside and is able to go by him.
And there's the car that's made the other big move. From 16th up to 5th came number 10. That was Derek Cope's car. There's Derek Cope, who made a great move in those early laps. And if Cope has trouble in this race and finishes outside the top 15, right now it looks like he won't make the 500.
He's got to drive carefully then.
just like you were talking about, that we saw Morgan Shepherd take 2 cars in the middle of 3 and 4. That car is working well by itself.
And it's the Ford. Some people say that maybe the Fords might have a little bit of trouble handling. Morgan Shepherd's Ford having no problem handling.
Just back in those final qualifying positions. 9th is Schrader, 10th is Trickle, 11th is Waltrip, Darrell is 12, Bobby Hamilton 13, Buddy Baker 14.
Here he goes. He's trying that inside again. It was a view out of Morgan Shepherd's car. He doesn't hesitate to use inside the racetrack, and that is an exceptional thing to have to do right now.
Here's David Hawes.
Bill Engel, Michael Waltrip came from right at the back. How's the car going?
Right now we're running pretty good. Michael said the car got a little bit loose, but he believes he can handle it. If we get a caution, we'll probably adjust it a little bit. If not, he says it's not so bad that he can't hang on. Our plan was when the race started was to go to the outside and go to the front, and that's what we're doing right now.
He's getting a lot of flack from the booth for not helping his brother much.
Well, you know, it's every man for himself out there.
Back to you, Ken.
Average speed is at 189.554 miles per hour. That's right on the button with the track record.
And Ken, while we were talking to Billy Engel, Morgan Shepherd just drove around. Ricky Rudd moved up into second place. Now he has Bill Elliott in his sights.
The only problem, his option now is if he tries to pass that car of Bill Elliott, if he makes it, he's going to look real good. But if he gets hung out, there's another string waiting to go by.
Davey Allison moving in to make it a 3-way battle for the lead. Morgan Shepherd in the 21 on the bottom. Elliott on the outside. Ford stacked up. All 3 in the picture here.
This is exactly what we talked about before. Once you make that commitment, you've almost got to go by, because he's going to go from second to third if he doesn't clear him on that one particular move.
Elliott on the high side. Morgan Shepherd down low. He may tuck back in. We'll see.
He better tuck back in, because you see those cars coming up behind him there.
But that machine is so stuck. Look, right here in the 17-degree banking. He disobeys all the odds, and he stays in it.
Yeah, and that has been the strongest point. Ken, he's made most of his passes in that area. He's not going to be able to do it this time. He's going to drop back to third.
And he senses it. You can see him pull back in right there. Meanwhile, Brett Bodine has his hands full. They get him on the inside. They get him on the outside, making the move. Coming up on the far high lane, Derek Cope right up on top. Guy that won this race, big surprise a couple of years ago. And the number 5, Ricky Rudd. Number 30, Michael Waltrip. From way out back in this race, they started 28 cars. He and Allison were on the very tail end of this. They were the tailgaters in this party. He had brought himself back up. Here he is, still side by side with Chad Little. As the squabble continues, at 5th place, the number 26 of Brett Bodine, followed by Ricky Rudd in 6th, Chad Little in 7th, and Michael Waltrip, the number 30, all the way to 8th. Davey Allison, Morgan Shepherd for the lead, now single pilot into the tri-oval.
Well, I think they're content at the moment, Davey Allison and Morgan Shepherd, because they're pulling away from the cars behind them, and they want to get a good cushion there, and at the same time sort of figure out, well, where is his weak points? Morgan Shepherd sitting there looking at Davey Allison now, trying to make that move, and says, can he do it? Should I go with him?
I'm not so sure the reason Davey made this move out in front of him is a pack of slow cars. And when he made the move the inside, he's got those slow cars in front of him that might give him enough pull to be able to do that.
Look at this, 3 wide. What a battle. Davey Allison getting caught in the middle in the sandwich. It's Morgan Shepherd down to the inside. Elliott on the outside, back in the lead. A grand race here at Daytona. Bill Elliott, twice champion of the 500, is back on, right on the spot, into first place with that maneuver.
In the first race, we might have a little leeway on who would help who, because you were talking Chevrolet against Ford. These 3 Fords, it's up in the air. They do what they want to do.
Here they are. Brown Joe Boer, lap car number 88, bottom of the racetrack. And Elliott gets some daylight. He has about 6 car lengths between himself and Morgan Shepherd now in second. Line third, Davey Allison. Don't forget in fourth, Ricky Rudd some ways back.
Bill Elliott's going to use every one of these cars that he's passing to his advantage as much as he possibly can. Pick up the draft up every little chance that he gets. See there, he's moving up on the outside, has been able to pull away from Morgan Shepherd a little bit going through this traffic.
And how do you use those lap cars, Neil?
It's just like I say, climbing a ladder. Next rung. When you see a guy, you jump over behind him, take what advantage is there, pull out, jump to the next guy, and then chop down in front of him, not leave the other guy open behind you.
But the amazing story here is 21, Morgan Shepherd just keeps on clawing his way back into the event.
His car is working well, and I believe that he thinks he's got a car that can beat Bill Elliott right now. See how low he can stay on the racetrack? Car's sticking down there. That's a mark of a good handling race car.
Looks like a slot car as it comes through turns 1 and 2. And it sure is in the groove. Here he is right back up on Elliott again. Elliott using all of his savvy to try to draw away, to no avail. Once again, Shepherd and the Wood brothers are back on track.
Now has Bill Elliott. He's been sitting there leading this thing all the way using maximum gasoline. Shepherd and Davey Allison have been able to draft and conserve a little bit of fuel.
There's the story. Elliott using that track. That car not handling quite as well, perhaps, as the 21. Taking that high side gives him a little advantage, maybe in RPMs. What about it off turn 2 here, Neil?
Well, I tell you, you've got to keep them up with the restrictor plate. You've got to keep that thing wound up. And here these two guys look like they're getting a little bit of break on Davey. That's the first time we've seen anyone pull away from him.
I think his car might be getting a little bit loose, Neil. He used a lot of tires coming up through that pack as quickly as he did. And when they got in this traffic, he had to drop back a little bit. And that normally is a sign that the car is a little bit loose.
Lake Speed coming back there for just a moment. Now to the outside, Morgan Shepherd's closed right up, and Davey Allison is still there. The number 11, a Junior Johnson car. Johnson cars have won 2 of the last 3 years in the 125-mile qualifier.
Caution is on the speedway. There's trouble over on the backstretch. A car spinning coming off of turn 2 down on the inside. It's car number 97.
22-year-old Mark Gibson loses it. Let's go to Mike Joy.
Tim Brewer is Bill Elliott's crew chief, keeping a check here on the stopwatch. And Tim, a minute ago they were 3 wide in the backstretch, and Bill got right around a bunch of them. Did he show him something?
Well, you know how old Bill is. He's pretty cool, and you know, he's just sitting there just doing his job right now. There's nothing exciting going on. We're just trying to get through this 125 miler, and hopefully we'll get into the 500. You know, then if he's got anything, I'm sure he'll show it then, but he hasn't told me he had anything special.
Caution flag. You got a chance to stop for gas, will you?
I don't think so.
David Hobbs?
Larry McReynolds. Caution flag. Chance to stop. Do you want to stop or not?
No, this should buy us what we need to be able to stay out there. I'm sure there's a lot of people that's confident they can make it. We didn't really get to check this car yesterday to see how much fuel it picks up. The other car would go the distance.
He's having words from Davey Allison out there on the track. This car has a brand new fuel cell, so it hasn't had time yet to check it out, but they seem to be pretty confident that it is going to do the 125 miles.
So we've heard from the Bill Elliott car. Now we've heard from Davey Allison. One more to check on. That's Morgan Shepherd. Let's go to Mike Joy right now.
Leonard Wood, Derek Cope is in. A couple of other cars are in for fuel. Do you have any plans to stop?
No, we're not going to stop it. It's pushing the front end a little bit, so he has to change his driving style a little bit.
So track position for Morgan Shepherd more important than fuel mileage here.
And we'll be back for the run to the checkers in this qualifier after this message and a word from your local stations. But for Davey Allison, Bill Elliott, Morgan Shepherd, and Ricky Rudd look like they're going to decide it.
This is either for the lead or fourth. It's just a matter of you clear him or not.
Elliott stays first. Here's Allison back again, inching along on the bottom, and he's looking like he's going to make the hole for first place, wide enough to take it. No. Back comes Bill Elliott on the outside another time. Watching Morgan Shepherd at work at over 190 miles per hour as we get ready to decide this second 125-mile qualifying race for the great American race, the Daytona 500. Shuffle is on. Elliott getting caught up, and guess who's here? Guess who just came to dinner? Number 17, DW is there. Darrell Waltrip on the inside of number 5, Ricky Rudd. Those 3 Fords continue to dominate. It's Bill Elliott on the point. The 21 car, Morgan Shepherd right there, and Davey Allison.
I think they're going to try to hook up together now and pull away from those Chevrolets back there and then fight it out amongst themselves at the end.
You can almost see that, Ned, after that big traffic jump. Say, hey, what are we doing? Let's get together and get away, or we'll settle this thing with 1 or 2 laps to go. They're trying to stretch it out right now.
Elliott controlling this event from the green. Now the Chevrolets are single file. See Rudd and Darrell Waltrip, and then the Pontiac of Michael Waltrip just behind them.
I'm not so sure when we heard Leonard Wood say a while ago, boy, we got a push, that it wasn't a blessing in disguise. All we've heard all day long is loose, loose, loose. That gets worse. A push comes to you, the thing might be coming to Morgan Shepherd now. He seems to be real strong behind him.
He is certainly able to do a good job with that. You can see his windshield's getting a little bit dirty as he looks at Bill Elliott going down the backstretch.
4 times the Wood brothers have won the 500, but it's been a long time, and as we mentioned earlier, it was 83 the last time they tasted victory, and that was in the 400 on the 4th of July. Now Morgan Shepherd looks like he has just that right combination that just makes it all work. They've done a lot of work on this car over the winter.
Yeah, and the push is good in the corner. It's bad off the corner down straightaway. His strong suit should be going into the middle.
Leonard Wood looking on. Slight smile there, as no matter what the situation, there always seems to be a slight smile with Leonard Wood.
Well, they're certainly good people, good hard-working people, and their team maybe had gotten a little behind at one time, but they're coming back now. It's good to see it.
Bill Elliott's taking the snaky route down the back straightaway there, which is the option. There's such things as offense and defense. That's the defensive side of racing.
You drove a lot of races for the Wood brothers. What do they tell you on the radio when you get down to something like this? You on your own? What goes on?
I used to call them and tell them, let me know when there's 5 to go, and tell me 4, 3, 2, and we'll see if we can make it happen on 1.
Here's Elliott trying to shake him loose now. Time running out. Saw that move through the tri-oval. He was definitely trying to duck away. He's not going to get away from Morgan Shepherd. No. He's not going to get away from Davey Allison.
No, he isn't, and Ricky Rudd is about to catch them. About to catch those Fords.
Second place driver, Morgan Shepherd. Again, this is at over 190 miles per hour, second qualifying race. There's the distance to be traveled on this 2.5-mile track to decide.
I said Ricky Rudd's about to catch him. He's going to have some momentum when he gets to him. Is it the timing perfect for him? Will it be right on the last lap or so?
And a lot of that, you don't necessarily plan that. They start that snaky move in front to be evasive, and it slows them down. And at the same time, the guys back are lined up straight, and here they come.
Ford 1, 2, and 3. General Motors 4, 5, and 6 with 2 to go. Here comes Ricky Rudd, and here come the Waltrip brothers closing in. You think they can overhaul him?
I tell you what, Bill is sure. He looks like he's concerned with it because he's trying everything he can to make him have to work behind him. I don't know how much he's got left. I would think it would be on the floor right now.
How about it, Ned?
Well, he doesn't know what they got left back there either. He's probably running that thing as wide open as it'll go, but he doesn't know what Morgan Shepherd has left or Davey Allison.
Chad Little is in 7th. In 8th is Jeff Bodine. 9th is Brett Bodine. Derek Cope is back in 10th. But this is the story right here. This is for the win.
I tell you what, I hope they filled up the power steering boxes on these things because they're sure working that wheel. They're cranking them down the straightaways.
Junior Johnson looking on at the leader. His driver, Bill Elliott. White flag is down, 1 to go. This is for it. Elliott there, Morgan Shepherd in 2nd. Have they got any more to offer? Now's the time we'll find out. Probably on the back straightaway. Probably turn 3.
Well, Ricky Rudd caught up, Ken, but he couldn't do anything with them once he caught up to him. Don't think he'll be a factor here. I think that it's going to be between Bill Elliott and Morgan Shepherd.
Inside of Morgan Shepherd's car. And there you see Elliott weaving at over 190 miles an hour, trying to hold on to that lead, giving Shepherd nowhere to run, nothing to look at.
Every time he moves over, that second car gets a blast in the nose, and he just doesn't have the power to pull at times.
Down out of 4 to finish the second 125-miler, and out to the outside. Here comes the 21 car, making a run for the flag, but it's Bill Elliott first. Morgan Shepherd is in 2nd. Davey Allison, a Ford sweep in the second 125-mile qualifier. A great race all the way for Elliott. Looks like they're going to be a tough combination of these super speedways. Junior Johnson and Bill Elliott, a new dream team.
Bill used to be the king of the super speedways back in 85 and 86, and it looks like he might be coming back to the throne.
And we'll be back to meet the winners, Junior Johnson and Bill Elliott, after these messages. Bill Elliott won. Looking further back in the field, Waltrip made it, Chad Little into it, Derek Cope, winner a couple of years back. And filling out the top 15, Stan Smith from Alabama was there. Bobby Hamilton had a good qualifying run.